Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new disc golf video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I attack courses being left-handed and kind of what goes through my head before each shot. I've never done a video like this before, so it'd be my first time kind of explaining really in depth what I'm thinking when I step up to a shot. So this video is really catered towards lefties but also righties. You can see kind of what goes through my mind playing disc golf, and I'm going to do it on the first 9 holes out here at Dallas Island. I've never done a video like this before, so if you enjoy it, let me know, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so hole 1 here, as a lefty, you can kind of attack it 2 ways. I've birdied it with the flip up backhand, and I've also birdied it with the turnover forehand. I prefer the forehand with something overstable that'll fight back at the end, because the way the hill is sloped, the backhand can kind of get sucked down super far to the right if you're not careful. So the forehand, I find, is a much better option for me. So I feel like a lot of the holes in this video, there are multiple options, and if you're either more comfortable with your forehand or backhand, you go with that option, because there are most holes out here, there are 2 viable options on each hole. So this hole, I prefer the forehand. I think it fits better with the shape of the hole. I think it was designed for a right-handed turnover mid-range, so we'll see how we can do. Not enough anhyzer, but it's safe. So no matter who you are here, lefty, righty, whatever, this is a scary putt because it's so downhill. There's OB not too far behind the basket, so I'm not gonna jump. I'm just gonna do a standstill putt here, something lofty. Maybe start out on some anhyzer, have it flex back. Try to let the disc fall in the basket if it goes in, and if it doesn't, I'll have an easy tap. Pretty safe effort, good line, not enough height. All right, that's a par to start, not bad. Hole 1's one of the more difficult birdies on the course, especially being the first hole of the day. So I'm happy with a par. That's what I normally get out here. All right, so hole 2, you really got 2 options. I think the best option is really just a righty backhand hyzer, so I try to match that with a forehand hyzer through this right gap. It's just an easy 200-foot par 3. There's also kind of a low ceiling left gap if you prefer the lefty backhand or the righty forehand. That is open as well, but I think this gap on the right is the easiest and most clear to the basket, so I'm gonna go anvil forehand. So hole 3 here, there are really 2 main plays for me. You can kind of go dead straight at the basket with just a putter, or you can kind of take that left gap on a hyzer. With the way the hill is sloped, I think it's just a more high percentage play for me to go for the backhand hyzer. With the Marshall here, I'm not trying to throw something too overstable, because if I throw something really overstable with a lot of fade, it's gonna wanna get super far right and that path is out of bounds. So I wanna avoid that. Go with something neutral, kind of straight to stable, put it on hyzer, it'll hold the hyzer the whole way, and the hill will help it filter towards the basket. So that's the kind of goal. On this hole, Marshall's the perfect disc. It's soft plastic, so it won't get a lot of skip. So that's what I do on this hole. I just want to encourage you guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to post pretty regularly this summer, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so normally there's not a camper in the way, but it's really not in the way of the shot here. This is 255, pretty drastically uphill here, so as a lefty you can kind of go with like a straight to turnover mid-range or fairway driver, or go with the forehand. And so I used to do the turnover. I birdied it a lot with the turnover, but I think the fell-in forehand, this is super neutral. This is pretty much a dead straight disc. I've beat it in. And so since it's so uphill, this will fly more overstable than it actually is. It'll go straight, then it'll fade. My entire goal here is to get pin high, so if I end up turning this over, that's fine. Kind of got caught up in the trees a little bit too early on the turn there, but that's not a bad shot. I mean, it's a super neutral disc, so it will turn when I throw it flat and hard. That's a fine shot. you know, just a few feet away from that being parked. So I'll take it. I mean, it's an uphill jump putt probably. All right, so I'm inside the circle here. I've got an uphill putt. One thing with uphill putts, you got to aim higher. So I'm gonna try to aim at the band of the basket. And if I put it on the right line, it should hit dead center. So the problem with that putt was I didn't really push off my back leg, and my normal pace wasn't on that putt. I was too focused on, you know, starting it at the band, which I did, but the putt had no power on it, so it had no chance of going in. So that was a pretty bad putt, but it's all right. Okay, so hole 5 here. I've played this hole a number of different ways in the past, but I think the two most high percentage options for me are a backhand hyzer through that left gap or a forehand through this right gap. And I choose the forehand through the right gap. It is the more dangerous option, but if you hit the gap, you're pretty much going to be parked. So it does bring the OB into play. I used to go through the left gap and I would get the occasional birdie, but I would get a guaranteed par. But I think I'm more focused on going for the birdie than anything else. This is the more aggressive play, but I'm confident in my ability to hit the line. So that's kind of what my thought process is on this hole. I was extremely lucky that we got through that split in the tree, but I did make a mistake that I didn't talk about on the tee and wasn't really thinking about on this hole. If you're going through that right gap, for me, it's really important to keep the disc low, because if I'm throwing an anvil, 9 times out of 10, if I throw it right, it's gonna catch edge and get a skip up the hill because it's so overstable. So if I can keep it low, I take the trees out of play, take the chance of getting a bad kick out of bounds normally out of play. So if I can keep it low and count on a skip to the left, that's normally the most ideal play. We did get lucky through that gap. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get unlucky. Overall, that was a pretty good throw. So yeah, this will be a birdie. So this is the look from hole 6's tee pad. It's pretty much straight uphill. I think it's like 300 feet is what it says, but it plays longer because it's uphill. So there are pretty much 2 plays you can do on this hole. As a lefty, you can throw a backhand with like a fairway driver that turns slightly left and comes back right, or you can go right of that tree in the middle of the fairway with a flex forehand. That's normally what I choose. It's easier for me to control the nose angle with a flex forehand than like a flippy turnover backhand that comes back. So I think that's a more high percentage play on this hole for me. I've parked it both ways, but I think that's a more high percentage play for me on this hole. Okay, so this red felon is slightly more overstable than the blue one, so I'm gonna put it on a little bit of anhyzer. Hopefully it flexes out and it's parked. Come out of that, dude. Kind of cranked it over on the anhyzer. I needed my most overstable felon if I wanted to throw it on that line. It's all right. I mean, that's the safe play. I got through the initial gap. I made it right of that tree. Just too much anhyzer. That's a bad putt. Never had a chance of going in. Just it came out on hyzer, not flat. So no matter what kind of disc golfer you are, I think there's one high percentage viable play on this hole. You can obviously, I mean, it's a dead straight 243-foot hole, so you can do a number of different things. But if you want to get a birdie every time on this hole, you're going to want to throw, if you're a lefty, a forehand to the right side, have it work and fade that tree on the right. I mean, it's so hard to hit that tree. Like, you're pretty much going to miss it if you throw a hyzer. Righty, it's just a righty putter, backhand hyzer, super straightforward hole. Just gonna go anvil here. I've aced it on a skip on this line before. It's just the most pure line to the basket. So if you couldn't tell, this shot was really bad. I put it on like a lot of anhyzer and high, which is like the worst thing you could possibly do. So I may miss this hole after saying it was one of the easiest and most straightforward holes, which, you know, when you're filming stuff and you say a hole's easy, like there's a 90% chance you're not gonna birdie it. It's just how it goes. No. Oh my gosh, that was in too. Of course I missed this hole. So hole 8 here is a dead straight tunnel shot. It's got a severe slope going left to right down the hill that's gonna kind of pull your disc down the hill. There are 2 plays on this hole. You can throw, for me, a lefty backhand skip shot through this left gap, but that brings so many trees into play. Or you can throw kind of a flex forehand, and I want to miss that tree to the right of the basket, miss it on the right, fade through it on the left. That's kind of the most perfect play. Filter up the hill. I'm gonna go anvil here, try to throw it good. So I hit those trees, but it's still a putt. Got another uphill putt, just like hole 4. Gonna try to actually make this one though. Try to get good pace on the putt, hit it dead center. Last hole of the video here is an eagleable par 4. It's uphill and then it goes pretty hard to the right. It says it's 400 feet. It plays probably a bit further than that. I'm gonna go Ballista Pro here. It's my widest rim distance driver. I'm gonna try to hit it on a good line to get to the top of the hill and have it fade hard to the right to get a big skip to try to get me an eagle look. No way, that was it. So I just checked and saw that the defender has a really good eagle look. So I could be able to eagle it in this video, but this is where the Ballista Pro ended up. There's a big drop off behind the basket, so the Marshall's the obvious play here. You're gonna throw it on the backhand, dead straight, and then hopefully assist by the basket. Although that looks like a shank, it's like 15 feet. So this is where the defender ended up. I've got this putt for eagle. Let's see if I can eagle it. Let's go, dude. So it's technically not a first shot eagle, but that is sick that I could eagle this hole. That is super sick. Defender, big skip, Warden for the birdie, for the eagle, that's awesome. So this is where the Marshall ended up. Just gonna tap this in for the birdie.